Hi all, for my final critical media project for our final exam, I decided to look at the differences in the film version of The Secret Life of Bees and the text version of The Secret Life of Bees. Moderate disclaimer as I'm presenting, I'm sorry, I have bronchitis, so if I have to cough, please just bear with me as we get through this presentation. To start with, if you've never seen The Secret Life of Bees, it's definitely a wonderful story, an easy storyline to follow, and a very compelling story. It's originally written by Sue Monk Kidd and it was published in 2001 by Penguin Text. Since then, the book has been made a major motion picture, and one of the greatest challenges I would think Sue Monk Kidd probably faced was looking at the text and deciding for film purposes what was key and what was essential that was recreated into the film version of this book. For me, I know when I read a book, it's really hard for me to go and watch a movie because there's just so many discrepancies and you're looking for one specific thing, and when it's not there, it is kind of disappointing. I know I found that to be true when I saw The Notebook. I read the book first, absolutely loved the book, but I was highly disappointed in the book, or the movie, because it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So going into this scenario, prior to viewing Secret Life of Bees, I had read the text. I read it in the 5th grade, and I most recently reread it for this course. And then I viewed the movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. I gave it an 8 out of 10. There were some key components missing, but we'll touch on those as we get a little bit further into this presentation. So just to start, some basic information. The Secret Life of Bees, written by Sue Monk Kidd, published by Penguin, and that copyright date is 2002. When you look at the cover of the text, you see a jar of honey. Very instrumental and very purposely put there because, as we learn throughout the storyline, the bees kind of serve as a metaphor for life, and the struggles and the challenges the bees face in just producing the honey are very similar to obstacles we overcome in our daily, everyday lives. When you look at the movie cover, though, you see the 5 main actresses, Dakota Fanning, Queen Latifah, Jennifer Hudson, and Alicia Keys, all of which play huge roles in this film as it plays out. And that was published and displayed for viewers in 2008. So, basic summary. 1964, South Carolina. Desegregation, racial tensions are at a rise. If you know anything about the South, you know that the South had a very hard time adapting equal rights for all. North Carolina, actually, here in Wilmington, my mom was a graduate of a high school here that did not desegregate until the 1970s. So the South was very behind in this desegregation process. So white supremacy was definitely on the rise and definitely heavy and still pressing throughout the storyline of this book. We meet Lily, who is the main character of the text. Lily is 14 years old, and she and her nanny, Rosaline, go on a journey. Rosaline is, like I said, Lily's nanny, but she's also the maternal figure in Lily's life. Lily's mother had died years before, and Rosaline kind of took her in under her wing. As the book and film both progress, we see a found respect and camaraderie between these two young ladies, because, again, it's the South. There is definitely a racial tension present. As we go on, we learn that Lily is trying to escape her abusive father, who is T-Ray. T-Ray married Lily's mother, Deborah, right after Deborah found out she was pregnant, so it definitely wasn't a love at first sight kind of marriage. But throughout the story, we find Lily on a quest to find out more about her mother, because as a young girl, Lily's in desperate search of these answers, and Rosaline plays a pivotal role as Lily develops into the young lady she is throughout the text. So again, where did it happen? South Carolina. 1964, civil rights. The help is definitely still present. Rosaline was originally hired to work for the family in the fields, but after the death of Deborah, Lily's mother, Rosaline came in and served as Lily's nanny, or what in the South we fondly refer to as the help. So the main characters, we have Lily Owens, Rosaline, August Boatwright, and the two other Boatwright sisters, and then T-Ray. So I'm going to touch on all those briefly, and then we'll kind of digest that. So Lily's 14 years old. She's our main character. She is kind of telling her own story throughout this text, and some of her biggest obstacles she has to overcome are the verbal abuse from her father and the loss of a mother. Her nanny, Rosaline, is very present in Lily's life, but the two of them definitely have to work through some social roles and some social issues to be together and work as a team. August Boatwright comes into the picture, and we learn about August through her mother, or through Rosaline. August served as Lily's mother's help while she was growing up, and kind of helps answer some unanswered questions Lily has about her mother. And then there's T-Ray, Lily's father, who is very abusive to Lily. Then we meet Mom. Mom is not an active character in the text, but Mother is referred to quite frequently. The mom dealt with some heavy mental health issues, and she passed away due to an accident with firearms pretty early in Lily's life. Lily has a friend named Zachary, and she meets him on her quest to escape the abuse of her father. Zachary has experienced many of the same life experiences as Lily, but they're two that you would not typically make out to be friends. So that relationship is definitely pivotal and helps Lily become who she is later on in the book. Both the Boatwright sisters, May and June, both play active roles in helping Lily get questions answered about her mother and becoming who she wants to be throughout the text. Some of the major conflicts. When a film is taken from an original piece of literature, there's always going to be the missing pieces, and where us as the audience thinks the producer could have done a little bit more. So I chose 3 to highlight, and we're going to discuss those and just look at those in further detail. The first, the bees. The bees, we see the honey jar on the front of the text. And the bees, we learn all about the process of from going from a bee to getting honey. And it's really instrumental, and it works as a metaphorical device to discuss some of life's major issues that you and I and many others will face in life. However, in the movie, the bees and the concept of getting honey was more or less just a extra. We see them in costume, but we never really hear in depth what the bee process is all about. So that was definitely an area where I wish the film producer would have dug in a little bit deeper. The beginning of the movie. It's notably different than the book. Lily wants a charm bracelet for her birthday, but will settle for information about her mother. I think the film producer did this as use this as a device to kind of foreshadow what's going to happen and give us a little bit more warning that Lily is going to be without her mother. But unlike in the book, where it directly kind of tells you point blank what has happened in Lily's life. So that was kind of a notable difference I found. And then lastly, the movie scene. Zach and Lily did not go to the movies together in the text. However, they did in the movie. And I do think that was a good move on the producer's part. A lot of times we teach our kids, you are who you associate with. Good things come to good people. Sometimes bad things come to bad people. Good things come to bad people. All of those can be interwoven. But we see firsthand how Zach gets in trouble at the movies because of who he is with, and that whole guilty by association piece is a great learning tool that we can use in our classrooms for kids. And again, this happened to a kid, so it's very applicable, and it definitely also sheds light on the issues present in the South at that time, especially with the white supremacy piece. I've included for you a movie link to view, and the slideshow is also attached below, so you'll be able to watch the movie trailer because it is quite enjoyable if you've never seen the movie. So, in review, the text is a great mentor text for teachers to use while teaching 4th and 5th grade social studies. Issues present include racial tensions, desegregation, personal growth, development, and respect. And I also think when I first read this text, I was in the 5th grade, and my mother was undergoing breast cancer, and I was able to connect to this text because this text is about a girl who's living life without her mother, and the concept of cancer is very, very scary, and you automatically jump to what my life's going to be like without my mom. So I associated with this text, and I know that many students are living with one parent, or they're living a life without any parents, and they just have someone serving as a mentor, maybe a relationship like Lily and Rosaline had. And so that's a great connection, and it may draw readers into the text because they can connect specifically with this situation. And also the racial tensions. We definitely have racial tensions present in the world we live in today. 2017 is not a perfect world, so it's a great connection, and we can kind of compare and contrast the differences in what's going on in that time period. And lastly, the personal growth. Lily goes on a journey. She's not only maturing physically, but she's maturing emotionally, and she's learning how to live her life without her mother, and she's getting questions answered that are going to help her be the best version of Lily she can be. So I highly recommend using The Secret Life of Bees as a classroom text, or even as a read aloud. It's definitely going to prompt many questions of students, but it also presents opportunities for teachers to have further conversations about mental health issues, because Lily's mother, like I said, had some heavy mental health stuff, and it is 2017. Mental health is not just something adults deal with. We have children every day dealing with mental health issues that are almost as severe or can be more severe than the ones facing adults. So all of these opportunities and all of these heavy themes present opportunities for teachers to have teachable moments within their classroom. So I really enjoyed reading Secret Life of Bees and viewing the film, and I hope this encourages you all to do the same.